Hey everybody, this is Haeravon
And Nocturnia.
and we are finally at the end of Act 1 in the 6th episode of our Diablo 3 playthrough. And lo and behold, of all enemies, we get to fight the Butcher.
The Butcher!
Recurring character from Diablo 1.
Yeah.
I had thought he was in Diablo 2, but that's the Smith. Just another big orange horned demon that looks pretty much exactly the same. Except the Smith fights with a hammer, not a cleaver. So
See? There's
big
a
difference there. And of course, this one, well, he's a bit bigger than in the last two games, isn't he?
I had thought, because of the build-up, that Leoric would have been the final boss, and maybe they would give an homage to the Butcher earlier than that, but they switched it around on me.
Yeah, then you fight Leoric right at the beginning of the game, and the Butcher is the Act 1 boss, which is kind of strange that
Backwards.
the Butcher is the Act 1 boss, because he was pretty much the boss of the first level or two in the first game, and now he's the boss of the whole first act. But what are you going to do? This is probably the most thought out of all the boss fights in the game, in my opinion, given the burning floor arena and the multiple attacks he uses to utilize it, and the other bosses seem kind of generic. Not all that interesting to me.
I did.
Yep, she should be
fight
doing
for a
that
while.
for a bit. Yeah. Boss fights longer respawn time, so I'll just try and stay alive while you're respawning. I'm not really doing much attacking, am I? Just rolling around like an idiot. But what can you do? Now, this fight is going to carry on quite a bit. This video is about 4 minutes, a little over 4 minutes. The other boss fights in the game won't last nearly this long because I've said it before, we get stronger in relation to the enemies as we play through the game.
And one thing you notice is I have ice armor on, and it tends to make it so that when we're fighting bosses, they freeze themselves because they can't help but attack me. And that's the best thing about ice armor. Freezes all the bosses.
Crap, that's everywhere.
Yeah. It did opposite of what it did before.
Well, the good thing about your ice armor, I mean, everything's going to attack you. Why not attack the soft, squishy mage? Is it gives me window to attack them, because at this point in the game, I'm not really sturdy enough to be able to just run up at them and...
I tend to be the primary attacker.
Well, remember later on, I get that passive ability that regenerates my life as I use Spirit, which allows me to essentially have an effective offensive life regen. I'm not even sure I use that passive ability by the time Inferno mode comes around, but for a while it was pretty good.
I didn't even notice the floor on fire and I died again.
There you are, dead again. I'm going to try and buy us some time, apparently, so you can respawn. He messages that charge attack ahead of time. He roars, and then you get to see the line of charge. They really, really want you to dodge that. I think there's a challenge for it, for killing him after he gets stunned by doing that. And he's just about... There he goes. Not that rough of a boss. Look at us being good, splitting the loot.
Yeah, that's unusual.
And that's all for Act 1.
Yay!
Huzzah! Now it's time to head off to Loot Galen. I mean, Caldeum. Right.